The Denver Broncos just sent shockwaves through the NFL. In the heart of the Bay Area, Denver walked into San Francisco's backyard and dominated the 49ers, despite having every reason not to. This wasn't just a good practice. It was a statement. This Broncos defense? Super Bowl caliber. And that's not just hype. Even San Francisco's own beat reporters can't stop raving about how vicious and relentless this Denver unit looked. Words like dangerous, nasty, and downright elite are being thrown around. And it gets better. Bo Nix stepped up, big time, against one of the league's best defenses. He looked confident, composed, and sharp. This isn't a fluke. This is real competition, and he delivered. We've also got key injury updates shaking up the AFC West, and let's just say, the tide might be turning in Denver's favor. Now, this matchup had extra fire behind it. Several former 49ers now wear the orange and blue, and you felt that tension from the opening snap. This wasn't just any joint practice. It was personal. Talanoa Hufanga tried to play it cool, calling it a happy practice. But don't be fooled, there's been friction between these two teams ever since Denver added players like Dre Greenlaw and Hufanga himself. The energy was electric. The competition was fierce. And if you're a Broncos fan, you have every reason to believe this team is building something special. NFL insider Benjamin Albright made it loud and clear. In just a 40-minute stretch, he was flooded with messages from over a dozen reporters. The consensus? This is a Super Bowl caliber defense. Let that sink in. Even voices deep inside 49ers territory are acknowledging it. One of San Francisco's most prominent sports creators, a longtime critic and close follower of the team, admitted that Denver's defense picked Brock Purdy off twice. That's right, twice. And it wasn't just luck. It was dominance. Jaquan McMillian disguised blitz perfectly. Jaquan McMillian came off the edge like lightning. The Broncos weren't just getting after the quarterback, they shut down the 49ers' run game, something few teams can say. That's a statement. Because if a dynamic playmaker like Christian McCaffrey can't get rolling, then don't be surprised when guys like J.K. Dobbins or R.J. Harvey struggle to find daylight against this Denver front. This unit is built different. Even 49ers head coach Kyle Shanahan, one of the sharpest minds in football, had to tip his cap. According to NFL reporter David Lombardi, Shanahan said, "This is a real good team. They challenged us in all three phases." Let that sink in again, not just defense. Offense, special teams, every phase. The Broncos showed up. And perhaps the most impressive part, Sean Payton didn't even empty the playbook. He showed discipline. He held back. He knows this was just practice. But even at half speed, Denver made a playoff team look uncomfortable. The message is clear. This Broncos team is no longer just rebuilding. They're ready to compete. And they're turning heads all across the NFL. Sean Payton's faith in this defense runs deep, especially when it comes to Dre Greenlaw. He reportedly told Diana Rossini, "Wait until you see this guy in pads. It's different. This defense is nasty." And he wasn't exaggerating. Despite some concern over Greenlaw nursing a leg injury, Payton played it smart. He kept Greenlaw, Alex Singleton, and Brandon Jones off the field entirely. That's 3 starting defenders sitting out. And even without them, this defense still dismantled the 49ers' offense. Let that sink in. Without 3 starters, the Broncos made San Francisco's first-team offense look overwhelmed. That speaks volumes. It's the kind of performance that coaches dream about. Even Christian McCaffrey couldn't help but give props after the practice, saying Denver's defensive front was the real deal. When one of the league's top playmakers shows that kind of respect, you know something special is brewing in the Mile High City. But it wasn't just dominance, it was discipline. The energy was intense. The hits were real, but the Broncos kept it clean. Unlike other camps where players were being carted off the field, Denver walked away from this session mostly healthy, with only a minor issue reported involving Henningsen. That's a huge win in itself. And then came the ultimate compliment. Talanoa Hufanga, now in Denver Orange, said this Broncos defense reminds him of the 49ers unit he went to the Super Bowl with. He said the pressure was constant, the effort nonstop, and the intensity right up there with the best defense he's ever been part of. That's not just hype, that's legacy talk. And considering the 49ers still boast one of the best offensive lines in the league, including a generational talent at left tackle, the fact that Denver pressured them all day long is simply remarkable. This isn't just progress. This is a warning shot to the rest of the league. Pressure, turnovers, relentless energy. The Broncos' defense wasn't just showing up, they were taking over. But it wasn't just the defense making noise. Let's talk Bo Nix. He's getting a fraction of the reps that Brock Purdy is, yet still made a strong impression. One of his interceptions even came on a clear missed defensive pass interference call, but outside of that, Nix ran the offense with confidence and poise. It was ball control football, and it worked. Mike McGlinchey, a former 49er himself, said it best after the joint practice. "We're going to be in a lot of games because we have Bo Nix as our quarterback." That's a veteran lineman, a guy who's protected elite QBs, saying Bo Nix is the difference maker. And it's not just McGlinchey. The belief is growing inside the locker room. Chase Daniel recently asked Pat Surtain to name his top 5 quarterbacks. Surtain rattled off his list, but then paused and added something that turned heads. Bo Nix is going to be a problem. He didn't have to say that. He's never said that about any of the QBs who've cycled through Denver the past few years. But Nix, he sees something special. This isn't just media hype. This is players believing in their guy. And then came the highlight of the day, a moment that silenced all the doubters. Bo Nix rolled out right, fading toward the sideline, and with a defender in his face, he launched a dart across his body to hit Devon V on the far side of the field. That's next-level stuff. That's the kind of play that doesn't just move the chains, it moves the needle on a franchise's future. One of the most promising signs from camp. Devon V is back and making noise. After dealing with minor injuries earlier in camp, Veal returned to the field and delivered the play of the day, showing exactly why expectations are sky-high for him in year 2. There's been buzz around Troy Franklin and Marvin Mims pushing for that number 2 wide receiver spot. But let's not forget, Veal held that role last season, and he earned every snap. If he's healthy, he's right back in the mix, and now the offense is finally starting to click on the ground too. While the Broncos didn't break off any huge runs against San Francisco, they found more success than they've had so far in camp, and importantly, more success than the 49ers had against Denver's defense. That's saying something. All the panic over the lack of a running game in early practices is fading. There are signs of life, and that's exactly what head coach Sean Payton has been building toward. Payton told reporters this offseason that his priority was to bolster the run game, to give Bo Nix the support system a young quarterback needs. And now we're starting to see that vision take shape, slowly, purposefully, dangerously. And while no one celebrates injuries, there's no ignoring what's happening around the AFC West. The Chargers, they're desperate to build their own ground attack. They used a first-round pick on Marshawn Lloyd, took a swing on Najee Harris, and tried to hold on to J.K. Dobbins with a tender. Clearly, they're bracing for a run-heavy identity. But in Denver, the pieces are already falling into place. The ground game is coming to life, and when it does, this offense becomes a true threat. Injury updates around the division are already shaking things up. The Chargers may have just suffered a major blow. Starting left tackle Rashawn Slater was carted off the field. No one roots for injuries, but there's no denying the impact. If Slater misses time, it could cripple the Chargers' ability to run the ball, which is the foundation of Jim Harbaugh's entire offensive vision. And that could open the door wide for Denver. Looking at the big picture, this joint practice with San Francisco might be the most complete and encouraging performance we've seen from the Broncos this offseason. No major injuries. Complete defensive domination. Strong signs of growth on offense. And perhaps most impressively, the 49ers' own media can't stop praising what Denver is building. This wasn't just a good day. It was a message. The Broncos are no longer looking for respect. They're earning it. They're demanding it. And if this is just a glimpse of what's coming, the rest of the league better wake up fast, because Denver is back.